thing about Christchurch and the new city that we're building, I mean, it could definitely be the Paris of the Southern Hemisphere for sure. It could look so elegant and tasteful. It's safe, secure, but beautiful looking city, and that's what I want to be part of.
From landmarks to artworks, Christchurch has become a city of lights. With the rebuild, some building owners have taken the opportunity to incorporate feature lighting into their design, with stunning results. The man behind several of the city's feature-lit buildings says lighting options before the earthquakes were limited.
There were some little spots where you could actually see that people had actually made a really good effort towards lighting. Some of the stuff was looking a wee bit tired, but it's interesting because, to be fair, technology has moved on quite considerably, and that's the reason why people can do lots of things now. The likes of using colour on buildings was never a given before, because you normally just had your reds, greens and blues, but now you can have anything up to 15 million different colour combinations. We can do anything with light now. We can bend light, we can shift it in all sorts of directions. LED has really come into its own.
I see great things happening in Christchurch at the moment in terms of the building and the people returning to the city. We are trying to create a sort of a nighttime city as well, that when visitors come to the city they feel confident to go out and explore, find the restaurants and the food and beverage offerings as well, and enjoy those at night, and then be able to navigate their way back to their hotels. And that's the same for the visitors and the people who live in Christchurch as well. Lighting in modern cities is an essential part to make cities more human. Obviously they make people feel safer, and they're really incredibly important for wayfinding as well around the city. But you'll also see lighting on particularly fantastic buildings as well. And it makes for sort of an experiential quality for people who live in the city and also visit the city.
When I'm designing production, we're dealing with areas and lighting also the scenery and the actors themselves. So when we're dealing with architecture, I would consider the architecture itself being the set piece, and then there are certain parts of the architecture that we can actually pick out as we would do an actor on stage. I have a particular passion for colour, because that's where I come from, the theatre, but it's most important that when we use colour, we use it in the right context. It's a bit like the Theatre Royal that I did. We use colour on the Theatre Royal, but we colour the actual building itself to actually replicate the actual production that's going on at a particular time. So if it's Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, for example, there's all sorts of colours being performed on that. But it's most important that when there's absolutely nothing happening on the Theatre Royal, that the Theatre Royal stays as a splendid looking building as it is and as it was designed. So we made a specific colour just for the Theatre Royal. So you don't have colour playing on that all the time, only when there's an entertainment element to it. People do that to artworks to accentuate the artwork, and actually if they choose to use colour, they can. It's a bit like what Neil did for the fanfare. That's great because it does change colour, and because it has a lot of reflective qualities, it's absolutely fabulous.
The Bridge of Remembrance and the Triumphal Arch has had lighting applied to it that is technology driven. It has the ability to animate that and at certain times of year, particularly obviously after the 100 years since the war as well, where we sort of light it in a certain way during ceremonies and so forth. And it's the same down with the National Earthquake Memorial as well. That has the ability to be feature lit as well, using LED technology, RGB colour, so sort of effects and sort of look and feel can be manipulated in a way for the public's pleasure.
The Casino was a wonderful challenge because I was asked by Brett Anderson, the CEO, to actually bring the casino to life and to bring people back into Victoria Street. And the concept that I came up with was the fact that because the casino itself had black negative detail bits of granite on the outside of the building, the interesting thing was that I took one of those top parts of the granite and I put light fittings all around the casino as a string of light. But what we ended up doing, which was absolutely wonderful, is that we used one fitting and we got 3 lighting effects out of the one fitting. By day or by night, you can never see a light fitting on that building, but by day it just appears as a piece of black granite. The Christchurch RSA, this building actually had wonderful parts of architecture to it, especially at the front with the long black columns. But what I was very aware of is because it was going to be a memorial, if you like, in terms of an RSA and why those columns were put there, we had to treat it with a lot of sensitivity and respect. So the choice of colour temperature in terms of white light was very, very important. Christchurch Airport Tower was one of the first coloured designs that we'd actually done in the city. I was approached by the Airways Corporation to actually light the tower. They were thinking about just putting 4 white floodlights on it, and I was fortunate enough to say to them, look, it's the entrance to our city. People need to be excited when they arrive in Christchurch. So what we did was we put 4 floodlights on that tower, which is quite amazing for the effects that we got from them, but again, the technology allowed us to do so. But what happens is when people walk out of that tower, it's specifically timed from the time you walk out of the arrival terminal to the car park to actually change to one of its sequences, and it's absolutely stunning the way it's actually been performing.
It's incredible. The Bowker Fountain is one of those sort of gravy stroke moments for Christchurch City, and to have it restored to the level it was probably 20 to 30 years ago is outstanding. Fully LED, automated, and can have any sequence of lights as well and animated. But the really key thing is that when people come and visit Victoria Square, this is about memory and cognitive memory of place, and this is so fond to people for many, many years, and we want people to be able to recognise their places at night and obviously stay and enjoy this city at night. Hence the reason we're working really hard on getting the level of lighting to a level where people feel comfortable and safe and feel like they want to be walking around the city and enjoying it at night.